XRP can't be cheap. This is a quote that has been circulating around the XRP community for years now. And although I do agree, I don't think that XRP can be dirt cheap. It doesn't mean that it justifies crazy price targets for XRP. However, I do still think that XRP will become very expensive over time. It's going to follow the same exact path that Bitcoin had, except it's going to be multiplied. And the reason why I say that is because, Bitcoin's path to its current price happened because of just retail speculation and hype around Bitcoin. And then that led to, buying, selling, and trading around Bitcoin with a major network effect. With XRP, we have that same exact scenario coupled with utility. And utility we still don't know what the effect of utility network effects will have on these assets. But in my opinion, with what we have with Bitcoin, we can only assume that it's going to multiply the price driver effect, if you will. So let's start off with a few things and then get into that side of, XRP. So let's start off with this post from Bank XRP. Have Ripple just expand its licensed payment activities in Singapore after approval from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. This matters for XRP because it unlocks regulated cross-border payments, digital asset transfer, stablecoin rails, and institutional settlement inside one of the most trusted jurisdictions in global finance. More clarity, more utility, more real adoption. XRP is built for this. Now we talked about this move. In fact, I said that this was a huge move that Ripple made, and it definitely is. And the reason why it is huge is because of it clears out a path to these massive use cases. This is building on top of the utility that was already there for XRP, and it provides even more clarity for XRP and even for Ripple. These are the moves that we want to see. These are the moves that matter for XRP in a big way. Now on top of that, Reese Merrick also made a post on the 25th talking about the Hidden Road acquisition. Last month, Ripple completed the acquisition of Hidden Road, now Ripple Prime, who served 3RD and Chart institutional customers, clearing $3 trillion across all markets annually. Ripple is now the first crypto-native company to own a global multi-asset prime broker, FX, digital assets, derivatives, fixed income, plus more. We have already seen significant growth since the announcement, and XRP and ROASD will be used as collateral for institutional clients. The institutional era just leveled up. So now we think about all of these moves that Repo has been making and how they all center around XRP and ROASD, highlighting even more utility expansion. We simply come to the conclusion that demand, utility, and the value around XRP is going to continue to evolve and increase. Because of all of these moves, because again, when something has this much utility tied back to it, and although yes, we're not seeing the utilization of XRP picking up in a big way just yet, I think with more clarity, it's going to increase the utilization of XRP. Once we start to see that, the network effect is going to grow significantly. We're going to see the multiplier effect on the value side also increase. Now we did hear from Brad Garlinghouse recently. This goes back to November 6th. Regulatory headwinds are now tailwinds, scaling liquidity and institutional partnerships for the next phase of crypto adoption. Check this out. Crypto exchanges are not safe. It does not matter the size of the exchange either. Bybit, the fourth largest crypto exchange by trading volume, recorded one of the largest crypto hacks in history back in February, where $1.4 billion was stolen. And if we're looking at some of the top 10 crypto hacks in history, most of these are resulting from major exchanges. So where do we store our crypto outside of cold storage devices? Well, I Trust Capital offers premium custody accounts, which is one of the safest places to store your crypto because these are fully closed-loop systems which are designed to isolate and protect assets. And the best part about this is that if you are holding digital assets on their platform, they can only be withdrawn in USD linked to a US bank account, which means no external wallet connections can happen, which reduces the exposure to phishing or unauthorized transfers. So if you guys do want to tap into one of the safest places to lock up your crypto, you could sign up utilizing my link down in description below right now, where you deposit $1,000 and you get a free $100 funding bonus today. I think the inevitable march of pursuit of these technologies can't be stopped. You Gary Gensler out there pontificating about how the crypto is the Wild West, that is the furthest thing from the truth. The people I knew were trying to give us clear rules, help us understand those rules, and don't just sue us without actually providing that guidance. So it took a while, but we're finally in a happier place. The idea that there's one internet doesn't really make. I think Ripple's always tried to champion, if crypto does well, that's gonna probably be really good for Ripple. And so we've invested almost $3 billion in other crypto initiatives. Now some of those are XRP specific, some of those are limited partners in funds that support lots of different things. But we think if crypto does well, it's good for us. And it's part of the reason you alluded to this, but we felt it was so important to fight the fight with the SEC and the last administration. Because it was important for crypto, and if somebody didn't fight, that was going to be bad for our industry. You guys are the original debt, right? You are the original company that owns a bunch of tokens. Yes, I think what we have found is it makes sense to have anchor players within an ecosystem. We are the most interested party in XRP success. We care immensely about the vibrancy, the utility, the liquidity of the XRP ecosystem. But the nice thing is the breadth of participants in the XRP ecosystem has changed dramatically. And so we want to build products and services that customers love and are happy to pay for and have the symbiotic relationship of driving liquidity in the XRP ecosystem. If the largest economy in the world goes from headwinds to tailwinds, I think we are underpriced that shift. And I think that'll play out over the 6, 12, 18 months, and again, underpriced. Pricing that situation because again, this is the largest economy in the world, and the US has now gone from a very hostile environment to one of the largest players to accept and adopt and put a spotlight on crypto in a big way. And yeah, I think that we are severely underpricing that it's not going to happen immediately, just like he said the next 6, 12, 18 months. Because again, over time we're going to see everything around crypto improve from the adoption from institutional players to the capital flows. Everything in this market is going to become even more bullish. And I think that that's one thing to really focus on here. And I think that that's incredible to see Brad Garlinghouse putting a spotlight on as well, because it's very clear things have improved greatly over the last 12 months. We're just waiting for price action to really, prove that to us. Now on top of that, the big focus here is institutional players, right? Institutional partnerships, institutional use, value. And it takes us back to, of course, David Schwartz, right? Back in 2017, it can't be dirt cheap. That doesn't make any sense. XRP costs $1. They'd need 1 million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP costs $1 million, they'd need 1 XRP, which would again cost $1 million. And then of course the second part to this, except that higher prices make payments cheaper. Right now you can buy $1 million house with bitcoins when bitcoins were, $300. It would move the market too much and be too expensive to be practical, so higher prices make payments cheaper. Now again, with this it doesn't mean that XRP is going to $1 million or $100,000. What it means that XRP, as we start to see more and more high-value use cases being targeted, which is the main focus here, right? We go back to this acquisition, right? FX, derivatives, things like that. These high-value markets, these high-value industries, once we start to target that, and we see trillions and trillions of dollars moving over these